All right, so good morning and good evening to John and Betska. Very warm welcome on our association with Metaversity, and I'm really glad that our years of relationship has finally helped us to take that step to be associated on the business and a professional front as well. I want my viewers and I want all the Indian and international viewers to know a little bit more about you, about CLI, that's Coaching and Leadership International, and how you guys have been impacting the entire globe all these years. So shall we begin?
Sure, Ankit, that sounds great. It's great to be here. We're absolutely delighted that we're sort of taking this jump off together now and joined up with Metaversity. And why don't I let you, my dear, go first?
Sure.
Talk about your journey.
I'll talk about my journey. It actually began, Ankit, my journey is really about understanding myself and loving myself as a wife and as a mother, as well as a leader in the workplace. It all started just after our daughter Tanya was born. And I was a leader in an international company at the time, and I found my brain was fuzzy, my back was really sore, I could barely get out of a chair, the pain was so bad. And I was wondering what was going on with me. I'm an intelligent woman. I've, broken through the glass ceiling. I've risen high up in the organization. So what was going on? Well, to make a long story short, I discovered that my back pain and my fuzzy head were the result of my not fully loving myself, my not feeling supported by my parents, my siblings, my husband, and even bigger, not feeling supported by God. So these physical symptoms became an awakening of sorts. I needed to find out, well, who am I? What am I supposed to be doing? What's my meaning in life? And why was I being mistreated at work? Men were getting the jobs over me when I had more qualifications. I mean, there was so much stuff going on. And just so you know, I now feel very supported by my husband, as he will tell you in a moment. But at that point, when I was in so much pain, I really learned some early tools from a wonderful human being named Jan Sweeney Remington. She taught me how to dive into my subconscious mind to discover my negative beliefs about myself and then switch them into positive beliefs. And these tools were miraculous, I tell you. I worked very hard on myself, and from those early tools, I've developed what we now know as the Mind Kinetics Coaching System.
Yeah.
And there are over 80 methodologies. Oh. And they greatly awaken individuals to truly rise up, to be uplifted and feel like they are hugely contributing to the world, to feel peace inside, to feel love of self. And so that's where we are. It started from those early beginnings of pain, and I'm really glad that pain was there, because look what's happened. I have clients in 50 plus countries, and CLI teaches in dozens of countries, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, super. So now let's hear it from a person who is a kayaker, or a man behind the Guru Coach Women. Yeah. So yes, John, how have been your journey so far?
Coaching, whitewater rafting, skydiving, all those fun things.
Okay.
But you know what? It's really interesting, especially after you've heard Betska's story, because I really came from, even while Betska was getting things all set up, I was still in a corporate environment and doing very well, regional management, blah, blah, blah. It was really going well. And I didn't see any problem with anything. I would come, and on the weekends, I would support Betska when she would do her weekend retreats. I'd help out with that. And then Monday morning, I'd be back in the office and running things there. And everything was rosy and great. And then one Monday morning, head office came up and said, John, we're making some changes.
Okay.
And in retrospect, what was really happening was that they were changing their entire structure to make the bottom line look as rosy as possible, because the owner of this company was getting ready to sell. And that's a story in many, many cases, right? It was a bit of a shock to me when they sort of said, we'll see you later. And then finally I realized that they were saying, John, we want to pay you for a year not to work for us. And I thought, oh, that's a good idea. Yeah. You pay me and I'll just go do something else. And Betska and I looked at each other and said, what's that going to be? And we said, well, I guess it's time to move to the West Coast. And maybe why don't we join forces and see what we can do together? And so that was sort of the jump off point. I thought I'd just be selling and, doing some admin work and some IT work and this and that. And that changed a lot over the years as I began to become an instructor and coach and et cetera, et cetera. So it was really very interesting. But I think one of the key things that I learned through all of that was we don't know what we don't know.
Yes.
So the reason I thought everything was fine was because that was my truth. That was my belief system. This is how you did things. This is what happened. So until I really started to see what else there could be, and started to realize and accept the fact that maybe I hadn't been taught all the perfect moves. You're right. There was more and better things I could do to create new, stronger, more positive, and more forward-moving belief systems in myself. And so, with Betska and I working together with the science of Mind Kinetics, that's where we ended up.
Superb. So if I just have to summarize both of your journey in one sentence, what I learned is that there is a saying called, seeing is believing, right? But today, after listening to both of you, I got a new one which says that if you start believing it, you can make it happen.
Yes.
And it's all about, either changing your beliefs or putting them to the right path or a right direction, and you can see things would happen around.